Well, we want to do something special. 75th anniversary of World War II's begun. June the 6th, 44. D-Day.
This was World War II's endgame. The final Allied attempt to beat Nazi Germany.
Comes after Dunkirk, after the Battle of Britain, after the Blitz, and after the Dam Busters. Then we get D-Day.
It is still the largest military assault ever conceived, dependent on epic logistics and the meticulous coordination of 155,000 troops.
Say D-Day to anyone, it's all about the beach landings. Yes, that was the main part of it, but they weren't the first boys in. The first boys in were the parachuters. They went in 6 hours before. They had the worst job. Jumping at night, being shot at, definitely not getting welcomed. They're sort of unsung heroes. Best way of learning about it is, let's get in there. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put me in those boys' shoes, and I'm going to jump out and replicate what went on in 1944. What should it be? I'm not going to be shot at.
In his biggest ever undertaking, Guy Martin will experience what those elite paratroopers went through, jumping into Normandy 75 years ago. He'll help with the painstaking restoration of one of the planes the troops jumped from.
I'm committed.
And learn how the vital D-Day supply lines worked on land, sea, and air.
Low moving. Low go. Does it get any more exciting than that?
He'll hear from the veterans who fought in the Normandy invasion.
You don't joke with SS. They don't like it.
Go, Smith! Rise!
And undergo grueling World War II training.
Step out! Go! Jump!
But only if Guy qualifies as a parachutist will he be able to fly over the channel and find out what it was like to be part of the first ever major airborne assault.
It's all right reading about it, yeah. The most complicated military mission in history. You know, to be honest, I'd rather have a go myself. Yeah, let's get stuck in.
Nearly 5 years into World War II, an Allied force of 13 nations crossed the Channel to take the fight to Nazi-occupied France and meet Hitler's army head-on. Guy's parachute jump will be a tribute to one soldier in particular, a 20-year-old Royal Marine lorry driver called John Martin, Guy's late grandfather.
I don't know what he's doing there. That's my granddad, my dad's dad. And then, I think that's me. That's when we went over for the 50th anniversary when I was at school. Yeah, giving him my granddad's car. Yeah, just giving him the front seats. We spent like 10 days doing it. It was great. Me, my granddad and my dad went round all the places my granddad got to. It's great. I got a lot of time off school. It was great. Good old boy. Would Jack be proud? Yeah, he won't make a fuss of it. He won't like that. He might have a few words. He won't say much. I think he would, deep down, he'd be proud.
25 years after that family trip, Guy will return to Normandy, all being well, by parachute. But first, every paratrooper needs a plane. The aircraft Guy is going to jump out of is also one he's going to help rebuild. He's brought his father Ian, a World War II buff, to a restoration in Coventry to start work on the plane that led the way on D-Day.
$500,000 rivets.
Oh, it's amazing.
Want a fighter, want a bomber, just a bit of a cargo plane. Yeah, like the transit van, wasn't it? It was just unsung hero. Yeah, I like it. Workhorse.
It's a Douglas C-47, nicknamed the Dakota by the Brits who flew in it.
I've got great faith in Dakotas. I'd jump out of a Dakota this afternoon. There was nothing flash about it, but they was marvellous planes to me.
The Allied Supreme Commander Dwight D. Eisenhower said this unarmoured cargo plane was as important to winning the war as the atomic bomb.
This is going to be steel, this bit.
Right.
Because when they put jeeps in, if it had been aluminium, it would have buckled it.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah.
It was so versatile. I mean, it would carry God knows how many paras. It could tow a glider. Damn useful. Trust the Yanks to come up with something really good.
And about bullet holes there that are cut out.
It's gone through some work, hasn't it?
1,200 were used on D-Day. 1,200 Dakotas.
Only a handful remain. The Coventry plane, called Night Fright, flew on D-Day, but needs a full rebuild to get it ready for the 75th anniversary in 9 months' time.
I think that's a bit on the optimistic side. Loads to do, isn't there? Oh, hydraulics, bulkheads, engines, fuel tanks, electrics. Where do we end? You'd look in the centre wing, you'd look at all the wiring and the piping in there. Some work to do.
And another go. Ready?
The plane was saved from an Arkansas scrapyard by an aviation enthusiast who wants to create the ultimate flying tribute. And today, the rebuild begins.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous. It's a significant moment, definitely. We've been taking the aircraft apart since we bought it in 2012, so it's a big moment to finally see two sections of it going back together.
The first task is to join the two biggest parts, the fuselage and the centre section of the wings.
Worst case scenario is we undo months and years of work and dedication. You know, all in all, the aircraft is probably worth £300,000, £400,000, so it's a significant chunk of money, but it's just the time you'd lose if you damaged it there and you'd have to go back and repair it, really.
Same on the top, please, Guy.
Yeah, OK.
Guys jumping straight into the middle of it all to rust-proof the bolts that keep the wings on.
Right, let me put a taste on there, then.
All right.
The thin strips of metal are called shims.
You want that fairly well glued down, because you don't want that bugger to swing out, do you?
Like a wedge under a table leg, they ensure the fuselage sits level.
And obviously, when you drop the fuselage onto the top of the wing section, it's not going to sit 100% true, you know, because there might be a bit of a gap here, but it's tight there, so you nip it all down and it's stressing the fuselage. So by putting those shims in, there's no one to stress.
The small restoration team are determined to prepare everything to an immaculate standard, even the areas that won't be seen.
It's not about that, is it? It's not about seeing them. It's just making, you know, so it'll last another 70 years. Longevity. Yeah, this job's simple, but it's either right or it's wrong, and that's the right way to do it.
Forward as well.
The Dakota is one of the world's most successful aircraft designs.
It is made of metal. It has 2 motors and 2 propellers.
It was based on an aviation pioneer, the Douglas DC-3 of 1936, the first plane to fly passengers across America cheaply and dependably.
Those little white lines are highways.
America used its industrial might to scale up production for the military version. 6 months before D-Day, a Douglas factory in Oklahoma was completing an unbelievable 1 plane every hour.
Nice and steady. Slow it down. Too far.
Things move a little slower in Coventry.
Right, I'm going to come down really slowly, yeah? Everybody clear?
If the 2-ton load isn't lined up correctly,
Fingers.
it will strip the threads clean off the bolts.
I'm going to lower it another inch, yeah?
What a sight to see, eh?
Yeah, that's lined up.
Jiggling those sections of fuselage into that sandwich section on the wing.
Hold on.
Getting one side in, and then you get the other side in, but the other side pops out.
Up, please. Yeah.
Matt, the crane driver, £500,000 crane,
Any more available?
just on his controller, millimetre at a time.
Bit more. That's enough.
No messing.
Down. Yeah.
It takes an hour of tense manoeuvring before the lift is complete.
That's it. Relax.
Guy's dad has loved every second.
Oh, I take my hat off to everybody. When you think the size of the fuselage, the engine's on, the wheels, all fastened on by 10 studs and nuts each side. I mean, it takes my breath away. Absolutely out of this world experience to watch.
It went really well. It's been a really good day for us, a momentous occasion. We've got over that milestone now, so it looks like an aircraft now and not a giant airfix kit. And we can sort of move on and do some of the detailing now. It's been a great day.
There are 9 months to go before the D-Day anniversary and Guy's parachute jump. With the plane underway, he can now start preparing himself to become a paratrooper.
Look at cows! Up! Get up! Get moving!
Discover the past with exclusive military history documentaries and ad-free podcasts presented by world-renowned historians, all on History Hit. Watch them on your smart TV or on the go with your mobile device. Download the app now to watch everything, from the gripping story of the Band of Brothers to Operation Barbarossa and D-Day. Immerse yourself in the dramatic stories of this remarkable era by signing up via the link in the description.
Guy Martin is recreating a D-Day parachute jump to find out what the first soldiers into battle experienced 75 years ago.
Congratulations, you're the first person to hook into night flying since 1945.
A bit nerve-wracking, genuinely. It's hard to select reverse when you're in this position.
The mission Guy will train for was the opening stage of a massive plan where the Allies would take the fight to Hitler.
June the 6th, 1944, when from England came the conquest of German-occupied Normandy.
With 200,000 vehicles and 155,000 troops, the invasion was like transporting a small city across 100 miles of water, overnight, in secret.
This is it. They're on the beach. The mind recoils from the dimensions of it all.
Known as Operation Overlord, it was planned by some of the war's most brilliant strategists.
Back here. Left. My left.
Its success depended on basic logistics. If the Allies could storm 5 Normandy beaches, codenamed Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno and Sword, and build up their forces faster than Germany, they'd win.
All right, Normandy coastline. What we've got here, Utah, Omaha, the 2 American beaches, you got that? These 2 are where the American troops come up, yeah, right? And then we've got Gold, British troops are coming up here, Juno, Canadian troops, and Sword, British troops. So that's the thick and the thin of the Normandy beach landings, right? But for all this to have half a chance, we need to protect the flanks, right? So what that meant was dropping paratroopers 6 hours before. And how we're going to do that, we're going to drop American paratroopers here on the western flank. How's that look? I've made a pig's ear of that, haven't I? It was somewhere about there. And then, bit of a traipse down here, bit of a traipse. Then, the eastern flank, we're going to drop British paratroopers, again, 6 hours before. We're going to drop them lads here. Their job was to take the bridges, put the big guns out of commission, and stop the Germans counter-attacking. So you just think, that's a lot to do, a lot to go wrong, but it half worked. Well, no, I'm not going to say it half worked. It did work. Yeah, Operation Overlord, as simple as that. Yeah. Yeah? No? Huh? Genius, yeah. Yeah, well, it has been said.
Those paratroopers were no ordinary soldiers. They would have to jump in darkness, behind enemy lines, into the path of bullets. It's time for Guy to experience how they have always been trained. His paratrooper training starts at the Catterick Garrison in Yorkshire. It's here that the Parachute Regiment make their recruits ready for anything. This part of the army is on permanent readiness. Packed bags are kept by desks because these soldiers must be able to parachute into a battlefield at a moment's notice. The regiment takes its history very seriously. with famous D-Day operations being taught to every recruit.
Our 0500 9 para were forced to engage Germans with hand-to-hand combat. And that's what we're trying to instill in you guys. No matter how hard it is, there's always something more to give.
Paratrooper selection has always been tough. Only a certain breed will do.
All right, mate. What are you doing, scraping anyone up?
The most daunting selection exercise is the Trainasium.
Stand by! Go!
The Paratroopers assault course.
Go!
Where everything is harder at height.
We have quite a lot of ankle breaks and that way. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of lads end up like dislocating the knees.
60 foot, yeah. You are a bloody height.
Before teenage recruits may jump from a plane, they must prove they're fearless. Guy will also be tested.
Stand by!
It's a process that hasn't changed since 1944.
Go!
Guy will have to do the same thing.
I don't think that looks all right, to be honest.
But he has no sympathy for a nervous recruit.
Go on! Go on! Go in! No! Keep your arms up.
There's no pressure out, but you're holding the whole job up, mate.
Look at me. Keep going. Get your arms up! Get your arms up! Get your arms up! Compose yourself. Come on. Foot. Lift it. You're not going to fall.
It's just learning to have confidence in what you're being told.
Lift it! Lift your foot! Lift it! Right. Stop. Next foot.
Lift your foot, please, Sergeant!
Shut up. Get your foot over now.
Can you hear me?
Lift your foot! Get up! Right, stop.
Fair play. Fair play. He's done it.
Stand by!
Even small jumps are challenging at height.
Main issues we have is the illusion jump. You're just playing with their minds. It's not a big of a gap.
Yeah.
Just basically just react to the words of command. Because on the day of the races, we're in that door. You know, when you get the red on, green on, go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to go. Go! 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 Right, you can do it. Get up.
Pick yourself up.
Good lad. See, no congratulations. Just get on with it. I like that. That's what this job needs.
Stand by!
Get on with it.
Go! Good.
I was just talking to the laddie there. You know what he said? Every jump's a night jump. Every jump's a night jump. Oh, that's a good one.
It's Guy's turn next.
Get warmed up. Oh, you fighter.
Civilians are prohibited from using MOD equipment. So instead, Guy will be tested on his own specially constructed Trainasium. Built to the same 18-metre height. A fall would mean serious injury.
Stay on the toes.
Or death. For the next 4 hours, he'll be drilled by an unforgiving selection team led by Sergeant Major Keith Shark.
You couldn't just walk up with a bunch of civvies and say, right, yeah, crack on, get across it. People will break legs.
Be aggressive. Come on, stick with it.
It's not a toy. It is there for a reason. It's a confidence course. Come here. Right, come pop down. Let me set the scene. Before midnight on 5th of June 1944, 600 men jumped into DZ. They went to the Melville Battery. Out of that, only 75 survived. The reason why they survived is because they had the airborne mentality, teamwork, aggression, speed, control, and most of all, the will to win. And that's what I want to see from you. So what I've got today for you is a small snippet of what it means to be a paratrooper. You have to prove to me you can jump out of a plane. Understand?
Yes, Steph.
Happy?
Yes, Steph.
Sure?
Yes, Steph.
Nervous?
No, Steph.
You will be. Climb. Go. Get away. Let's go. 3 points of contact at all times and climb up. Let's go. Climb.
Guy climbs to the top, 6 stories high.
When I say stand by, I want your number and your name. Do you understand?
Yes, Steph.
Stand by! Release the bars! What do you say?
Number 8, Private Martin, Staff.
Put your arms out wide. Shimmy along. Steady hold. Steady hold. Let's go. Do not lean forward. Push your hips forward. Look at the obstacle. Cross it. Do not hesitate. Look at it. Get across it. Get across it. Now. Well done. Do not touch the bars. Get over it. Get over it. Stand still. Stand still. Touch your toes. Touch your toes. Touch your toes. Stop showing off. Stand still. Walk to the end with your chest. Walk to the end, walk to the end, walk to the end, walk to the end. OK, climb down.
I thought back too much, a little bit of hesitation. And after then, I was sort of all right.
After the shuffle bars...
Then go to your left and stand still.
...comes the illusion jump. A 1 metre gap that seems impossibly wide when there's nothing below.
When I say go, react. You understand?
Yes, Staff.
Listen in. Stand by! Stand up. Stand up. What are you supposed to say?
Number 8, Private Mountain Staff.
Remember it. Stand by!
Number 8, Private Mountain Staff.
Go! Stop! Go! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Well done! Get across! Do not fuck about! Keep going! Keep going! Climb! Come on, get up there, get up there. Knees on the outside, knees on the outside. Come on, slide along! All the way to the end!
Phase 1 complete.
I didn't struggle with the illusion jump.
Climb down the ladder!
I was all right. The biggest thing was number 8, Private Mountain Staff. I'm just trying to remember those words.
Next, Guy must advance to battle.
Phase 2. When I say sprint, you sprint. When I say grenade, you're going to fucking dig in with your eyelids. Good to go?
Yes, Staff.
Turn face that way. Stand by. Down, sprint! Get going! Get moved! Grenade! Get down! Get down! Good! Get down! Crawl! Crawl! Crawl, you fucking idiot! Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! Come here! Come here. What did I say to you? When I say grenade, you fucking get down! Do you understand? You need to get down! You get fucking killed! You will fucking die! Sprint! Go! Let's go! Let's go!
The tough treatment is known as combat inoculation.
Crawl!
That crawling's hard. Just crawling hard. That's hard.
Get up! Get up!
It's designed to get paratroopers hardened to adversity.
Underneath! Underneath! Get underneath it! Get underneath it! Get underneath it! Get up! Right, get up! Get through the middle! Get through the middle! And again! This way! Get through here! Get through!
Come on, safety, safety,
Get
safety.
through! Go! Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going! Keep low, keep low! Sit down! Keep your neck out. But after a word, stay still.
Guy's getting one afternoon of robust treatment. The recruits of World War II went through months of it.
They knocked the sugar out of me in no uncertain manner, like, you know. I thought, what the hell's happening here? And a bloke pushing his foot on my back to make sure I got down in the water. I thought I was a kingpin until I went into Paris, you know.
Right, staff. We've got to bring him up.
The hardship breeds something that is crucial to those who are first behind enemy lines. A brotherhood.
You know, we all try to look after each other. The comradeship in the Paris was actually unbelievable.
Stand up. Phase 2 over. Phase 3, close in and kill the enemy. Follow me.
He's proven he can get to the front line.
Smash as hard as you can.
But can Guy fight?
Stand forward.
Milling is the final chance to show that he has the requisite never-say-die attitude. He'll be fighting Afghanistan veteran, Sergeant Major Sean Vine.
Good to go. 1 minute of your life. Come shield. Center! Straight punches, target area is the phase. Look at me. Think back to 1944 when these men had to go in bunkers and clear the enemy out of them. Do you understand? And that's what we're going to do now. You're going to fight him, you're going to smash him. Right, straight fucking punches. Gloves up! No! Keep going, let's go! Let's go! Stop! Stop! Up! Get over here. Get in the corner. Get in the corner. Get in the corner. That's what I want. And that's what I want. Keep it going, yes? You know what's coming now. Centre! The multi-men! Gloves up! Fucking smash each other. No! Stop!
Guy's milling career finishes on the floor.
Stand up. Good effort. Face the referee.
Valiant effort by both. However, Sean wins.
Well done, fellas. Get over there. Get the gloves off.
As soon as the bell rang, it took me straight on the nose, and I was sort of like, right, I'm getting it now.
Come here. Right, calm it down now. Calm. Right. What you've proved to me there is that you can work at height. You can take a thrashing and you can get in that trench and go hand to hand with the enemy. Well done, give your hand. Well done, lads. Give me a round of applause.
Well done.
After battles, they're getting back up. People that get hit, get hurt and run away. We don't want people like that. People we wanted are the people that are willing to get up and get stuck in, and that's exactly what he did, so fair play to him.
I might have landed a couple, then I'm on my ass again. Hang on. I didn't see where they came from. Did not see where they came from.
I think he was in a world of hurt. But he's got the drive what's needed to be an airborne warrior. Well done, mate.
Good work. Good work.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Got a thick head now, a cup of tea.
Arms out into the free fall position.
Guy's training now goes up a gear as he makes his first ever parachute jump. Guy Martin wants to recreate a D-Day parachute jump, and to do it, he's helping rebuild one of the last surviving D-Day Dakotas. Today, he'll fit the part that gave this workhorse its legendary reliability, letting it carry 28 paratroopers into battle with ease.
That's bloody great, innit? Just look at it. Yeah, radial engine. Mission today, we're fitting the second engine. The first engine was fitted on Monday. We're on Wednesday now. 14-cylinder, Pratt & Whitney. Not a massive amount of power for its size. That's 30 litres, but it's like 1,100 horsepower. It's like a truck engine. Never stressed, just plugs away, just plugs away. I've heard stories of these, I don't know if you have. We've had cylinders of these missing, blown off in a firefight, but they'll still run.
Each engine weighs more than half a ton.
Yeah, she's coming. She's coming, mate.
They were reconditioned by specialists in America at a cost of £40,000 each.
Those stanchions have never been on this airframe before, so this might need a few love letters and a bit of caressing, a bit of a gentleman's touch. What do you want me here, Rob? Cheers, boss.
The engine is attached to the airframe by just 4 bolts, but the bolts won't slot in until everything is lined up perfectly.
Jiggling match, boys. It's a jiggling match. She's teasing us, boy. She's teasing us.
Wartime machinery requires a robust approach.
One big hit is much better than millions of little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in.
There are 6 months to go before Guy plans to jump out of this plane.
Don't worry. Do not worry. They're not going to drop off. I'll tell you now. They aren't dropping off.
With the heavy engineering dealt with, the team can turn their attention to some of the D-Day details. The lead plane of every squadron was fitted with the latest radio technology to help the pilots drop their paratroopers at the correct location. Night Fright hasn't worn this special aerial since 1944.
Yeah, what we've got here is the Eureka Rebecca pathfinding system. These fellas here, well, not fellas, because the girl's called Rebecca, and then they would drop a bloke in a field. He'd have a transponder box with him called Eureka. Eureka would talk to Rebecca through beeps and like an oscilloscope wave, lefts and rights and rights and lefts, and that'd get the Dakota going in the right direction until we've got equal waves left and right. That means we're dead ahead, lads out the back, jobs are good. Jobs are good.
A secret group of paratroopers were entrusted to deploy the Eureka boxers behind enemy lines. The Pathfinders.
I think they trained us to believe that we were quite wonderful.
They would be the first to land in Normandy on D-Day, operating under the cover of darkness.
They made us have carrots because they said by having a lot of carrots, they said we could see better in the dark.
20-year-old Bob filmed here, and the other Pathfinders would have a crucial part to play in ensuring the accuracy of the mass drop.
When we got on the plane, there was a lot of joking, but I noticed that it gradually slowed up, and then people were very quiet.
The Pathfinders would have just a 30-minute head start to set up the Eureka radio beacons that would guide the rest of the fleet in.
Spitfire had gone out to see where we were going to land, and it had a photograph to show there were no enemy there. The German camouflage must have been quite wonderful because when we landed, it was like in a wasp nest.
Bob had been assigned 2 bodyguards, but one was immediately shot dead. Under enemy fire, Bob hid amongst the long grass and tuned in Eureka as quickly as possible.
Well, first of all, it didn't beat, but I was in too much of a rush. I think we were rather anxious to get the real paratroops there. And I found that the beat was just very faint. And then it came on louder and louder. Then I could hear the aircraft itself.
Bob's mission was a success, with hundreds of troops landing safely at his drop zone. But not all the aircraft that delivered them got away.
I always remember it was a Dakota. It was on fire, and the pilots just kept going until they did the job. And then they crash-landed, which was terribly upsetting.
The paratroopers saw off the Germans and rushed on to their targets, leaving Bob and the 3 remaining members of his unit to guard the whole drop zone.
Unfortunately, coming towards daybreak, the Germans came back, and that caused us some trouble. They brought a tank in, and one blew me up. My hair got burned, my face got burned, and I just felt dopey.
Bob was captured. After his wounds were treated, he was handed over to some of Hitler's most fanatical troops, the SS.
Unfortunately, they found out I was a Pathfinder. They kept asking, how many units, how many more are coming, where are you going? It went on and on and on. I tried to joke once or twice. That was rather a painful experience. You don't joke with SS. They don't like it. Once you've been hit once, the pain is not so bad the second time.
After 3 days of interrogation, Bob was sent to a prisoner of war camp. From his hospital bed, he worked on the escape committee. While work continues in Coventry fitting the Dakota's tail...
Okay, you ready when you are? Yeah, ready.
The next stage of Guy's preparations for his own personal D-Day take him to Nottinghamshire.
First taste of parachuting. I've no apprehension at all about what's going to happen today. I'm going to get chucked out the side of a Cessna. Nothing's going to go wrong. Nothing's going to go wrong.
In the run-up to D-Day, the village of Langer was home to 4 American squadrons of Dakotas. Now it is one of the training bases for the Red Devils, the Parachute Regiment's freefall display team. They will be flying in formation today and have agreed to take Guy along for the ride.
Arms out into the freefall position. Brilliant. And what we'll do is we'll just move these arms slightly forward, like so, nice and relaxed. we could hit maybe 190, 200 miles an hour. Yeah, pretty quick.
Bloody hell, right.
Sergeant Dean Walton has done 1,500 jumps
Move them out into this position here.
and has some invaluable advice for Guy the novice.
During World War II, when the Dakota was used by the military, it did have a reputation for people hitting the tail.
Right.
So if you jump out and for whatever reason get big into the airflow, you could catch a bit of lift and you could hit into the tail. So my advice to you is...
I don't want any lift.
No,
I want to
you
be
don't
dropping
lift.
like a stone.
So just be careful.
Noted.
Yeah.
Noted.
Things rarely go wrong, but malfunctions are always possible.
Has that gone wrong?
During Guy's visit, this student's parachute failed to deploy correctly. Emergency procedures are well drilled, and the reserve parachute is used instead.
Oh, look at that. What's he say? What was I panicking about? He's got down. No one's died.
And with that, it's time for Guy to jump out of a plane for the first time. He'll be strapped to Sergeant Walton as a tandem. The jump comes with its own hazards.
I'm not very much of a deodorant wearer. I always stink. I don't know what's today's level like.
I've done months on the ground in Afghanistan.
Right,
so
yeah.
I'm used to... It's fine.
At 16,000 feet, the world's best parachute team and a Grimsby lorry mechanic get ready to jump. At 6,000 feet, after 50 seconds of precision freefall, it's time to pull the chute and decelerate by 100 miles per hour.
Woo! That's mint.
1,000 feet later, the parachute is fully inflated, and Guy is falling at 20 miles per hour.
How peaceful is that? You lucky bastard. Get to do that every day. I've never done it like that. I have to pop my lug holes.
Right, here we go, ready?
It's quite responsive, isn't it?
Yeah.
It turns fast, bloody hell. We're moving there, aren't we?
Legs up.
Yeah, legs are up now.
Legs up, put your toes.
Point my
Put your toes.
Point my
Put your toes.
Point my
Put your toes. Put your toes. Put your toes. There we go, dude.
That was brilliant.
You can stand up now, mate.
Dean, you're the man. Thank you very much.
No problems, buddy. Think you got someone who enjoyed it.
There might be a little bit of apprehension when it's me that's having to jump out the door. I was strapped with Dean. I had no say in what was happening. But when it's me jumping out in France, yeah, it's all on me. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much, Dave. It's been bloody great.
No, it's been absolutely pleasure, guy. No, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Back at Coventry, Night Fright's owner, Charlie Walker, has made another acquisition.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, amazing.
It's a scrapbook from a Dakota pilot, an extraordinary, never-before-published view of the war.
That's the original, hey? What mementos to be looking back at.
Amazing. What else have we got? That sort of gives you an idea of the scale of it like that.
Yeah, size of the Dakota compared to the Spitfire there.
These guys would have very limited experience flying in tight formations together, so, you know, very little combat experience. You imagine it's pitch black, everything's kicking off. You know, you've got people dropping paratroopers in the wrong places, aircraft bashing into each other in the formations, you know, let alone...
that did happen?
Yeah, it's chaos, absolute chaos.
Bloody hell.
So these are pretty cool as well. I mean, it wasn't just that D-Day was dropping the paratroopers, you know, these guys went on...
Everything that came in afterwards,
yeah. Exactly, yeah. They're then on to resupply missions and, you know, evac missions.
Yes,
so you can see that will be a flight nurse stood in the cargo door of the C-47 there.
He's fairly well back, but he's still got a smile on his face.
He's still loving it, isn't he? Yeah.
Dakotas had carried medical supplies in Burma, North Africa and Sicily, but their role evacuating 100,000 Normandy casualties would be their finest hour. The nurses on board would become known as Flying Nightingales.
It was a lovely plane. I was very fond of it. When you got in, it was filled with ammunition or medical supplies, so you sit on an ammunition box. And that was all the luxury that we got. And then you were given a parachute. You can use that chute on the way over if you're attacked. Coming back, they took it off you because you have to stay with the patients. Yes, which is fair enough.
Flying Nightingales would play an invaluable role, but they'd always be second to the aircrew.
They had a good dinner when they landed. We got egg and chips. We were paid 8p each trip. Yes, they didn't put much value on us, no.
Margaret and her fellow medics would spend over 2 months taking home the wounded from D-Day and the fighting that followed.
I've not thought about this for years. It's memories that you want to keep to yourself. Oh, how horrible. Some were so bad. Arms, legs, face. I think a facial injury is the hardest injury to take. If it's the arm or leg, it's covered. But if you've got an injury to the face, that was hard, because you actually saw and knew it was a person. Young boy, yeah. Yes, the facial injuries were the worst.
The daily casualty rate of Allies, Germans and civilians would be higher than the Somme. Had it not been for the Dakota flying hospitals and a new wonder drug called penicillin, it would have been worse.
Some were very grateful that they were going back home. Others were quite sad, yeah. But I'd never lost a patient.
The D-Day Dakotas weren't just transporters of troops and patients. Guys about to find out how they also dropped crucial cargo, like an airborne motorcycle.
Chances are it's probably going to take a bit of a battering.
Start engines.
The restoration of the D-Day Dakota that Guy Martin wants to parachute out of is progressing slowly.
Well, come on, let's get these buggers off.
Spares are in short supply. These parts salvaged from a wreck in Bolivia have finally arrived.
And that's it.
3 months after payment was made.
It's been a massive, massive coup for us. These are hot ticket items.
3,500 quid. Hey.
Obsessed with attention to detail, the team are using the original manual to make sure the plane is built exactly as it was 75 years ago.
I like the detail, though. I mean, you could, couldn't you? You could just put a bit of sheet in there and cut it and do it and make it look half right.
That's what a lot do,
not
really.
Right.
Yeah.
But perfectionism takes time.
So, fill your boots. Have a go.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
All the painting is done by hand.
There will be literally 700,000 components like this that all have to be sprayed.
Just slow down with the gun.
Okay.
On off. Happy? You're a natural.
I doubt it, mate.
Altogether, these would have 4 coats of paint. So, as you can imagine, it's a hell of a task.
Just bring the gun away a little bit.
But it makes such a nice job of the finished product.
That's good.
You know, that's what the aeroplane deserves.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Only another 100,000 to go.
Yeah, hey.
Lovely, that.
A lot of work. A lot of work.
The quality is just mind-blowing. The detail is bloody brilliant. You could put 1,000 men on that and it's not really going to happen any faster. It is all happening. Slowly, but it's happening.
D-Day's airborne action was just the start. It was to be swiftly followed by a colossal seaborne invasion, codename Operation Neptune.
You couldn't see the water for craft, and you began to wonder, where did all these come from? And it wasn't only the ships, it was all the equipment that had been on the docks. Different sizes of lorries, small jeeps, tanks. It was really mind-boggling.
Yeah, so Operation Neptune was a massive undertaking. 7,000 boats to get 200,000 men to the Normandy coastline. Hang on. Take some getting your head round. Take some getting your head round.
The landing craft was terrible. They were just bobbing around like corks. A lot of the infantry chaps, they were as sick as dogs. And some of them were even crying for their mothers, saying, "Oh, Mum, 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 Mum." Then the big guns started to open up on the warships.
The destroyers that reached Normandy first would try to disable the guns defending the beaches.
Navy often get forgotten over D-Day, but in fact, if it hadn't been for the Navy, there wouldn't have been any landings. As simple as that.
Dubbed the Atlantic Wall, it was supposedly Hitler's impregnable defense.
Well, I didn't think it was impregnable at all. I think we proved that it wasn't, and proved it very well.
The firepower was tremendous.
We give it a little bit of a bash, just to keep them quiet.
What actually gets you is the way the air vibrates. It's a constant noise. It isn't just a noise in your ears, it's a noise in your whole body.
You got quite a big boom. Not too bad.
If I look at my midshipman's logbook, there is no emotion there at all. There was no panic and no rushing around or anything of that sort. I might have got a bit panicky when the tea or the coffee or the cocoa didn't come up to the bridge at the right time. Tuesday, steaming down Sweat Channel, Yanks right, us left, German bomber passed low overhead, opened fire with everything, getting light, bombarded, target destroyed, fires raging, smoke, etc. Assault craft went in. Well, I mean, yes, it all brings it back, obviously, but of course, yeah.
It was our job at the time. We took it as it came.
After the defences had been weakened, the beach landings would finally take place. For the first troops in, H-hour on D-Day was 0630. There were 10,000 Allied casualties on D-Day, and while tragic, the losses were a quarter of those expected. Attention now turned to resupplying the front line so the invasion could advance. One vehicle that would be instrumental was an amphibious lorry nicknamed the Duck.
$2,000 were used on D-Day. It's over 5 ton. How's that going to float?
Guy has tracked down one of the few that still exists. It's worth £70,000.
It's owned by a bloke called Mitch. Mitch, you'll take us for a run in it, won't you? Please.
OK.
Right, go on.
Ignition is there.
Yeah.
Just turn that on. Press that button. Yep. Handbrake. And away you'll go.
Oh, where's my biting point? Oh, that's it. Away, away. That's it.
Military vehicle collector Mitchell Hickman is giving Guy his very first amphibious driving lesson.
You got the hang of it straight away.
Do you get wet in here?
No, you shouldn't do.
I'm not bothered if you do. I'm not bothered.
It does feel a bit unnerving when you go from the contact of terra firma to the floating.
Oh, bloody hell.
I'm not really clever enough to know the maths, but as long as it displaces the right amount of water to what it weighs, then it will float. And that's what it did.
Put that into third gear. Give us a few revs, that's it.
She's away.
And away one goes. Simple as that.
Quite manoeuvrable, quite responsive.
Let's see how it deals with the weight. It don't bother it, does it?
It's great. It was great. It was bloody great.
If you can try and imagine what happened on D-Day. The lead flying around, the shells going off, the total chaos of it all, really. You've got to look at the ages of these blokes as well.
Yeah.
A lot of them are 18, 19. You try and imagine what you were like at 18 and 19.
Yeah, but you don't know until you was put in that position. If I was put in that position at 18, you'd have been...
Well, you'd have grown up very quick, wouldn't you?
You would.
Soldiers are only effective if they don't run out of bullets. D-Day's success would hinge on the ducks dropping 10 tons of cargo every hour. The delivery drivers were every bit as important as the frontline fighters.
Guns, fuel, first aid kits, ammo, food, everything.
That's it. Go on, go a bit faster if you like. And then when you're ready, just change into second gear and you should go right out. OK, straight up. That's it. Now drive. There you go.
Bloody great job.
With a top speed of 50 miles per hour, the Duck was the fastest lorry in the army.
I can't believe how comfy it is. I thought it'd be rattling my teeth out.
After D-Day, it would be instrumental in helping the Allies push on to Berlin.
Are we going to give it some berries?
But the king of resupply was the Dakota. 47 Air Dispatch Squadron was set up specifically to deliver cargo to the front line on D-Day. 75 years later, they're still doing it and still paying tribute to the Dakotas that were originally used. To learn more about their airdrops, there can be no better cargo for someone with Guy's background than a paratrooper's motorcycle, the Flying Flea.
Yeah, throwing motorbikes out of planes. Yeah, what better way to keep the troops supplied with the gear that they need to go forward? And a motorbike is a bloody handy piece of kit.
Radio transmissions could be intercepted, so motorbikes were used to deliver messages instead. Guy is going to see if one of the last remaining examples of these 125cc Royal Enfields can really survive an airdrop.
You managed to find a bloke who owned one in its original bird cage, which is what it used to be chucked out in to keep it protected. Matt is the bloke that you've talked into allowing us to chuck it out the back of an aircraft. How you talked him into it, I don't know.
Helping Guy and primary school teacher Matt make the first motorcycle drop since the war will be a team from RAF Bryce Norton, who are experts at parachuting military cargo accurately.
Drop back to sea and bullseye, over.
Beautiful.
Matt's still nervous.
Yeah, I'm still quite
It's your baby.
It's something I just couldn't replace.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to do it right, these guys are...
Yeah, they know what they're doing, don't they? They know what they're doing. We did take a few precautions. Come on, I mean, you could nearly say it's priceless. Go on, what are we doing? So we thought we'd wrap it in a bit of a box. Because
because the chances are it was probably going to take a bit of a battering.
When all my friends were buying PlayStation games, I was buying bits of motorbike.
Only 3 of them in the world, no pressure around.
The bike still has its original rubber band suspension and the cover that makes the headlamp harder to spot at night.
They were designed to be disposable, so the fact it's made it this far is a miracle, really. I'd never sell it. It's sticking with me, definitely.
We did it properly. Bit of foam. Yep, spot on. Bit of strapping.
Okay, yeah, just start ratcheting in until it's tight.
Bit of cardboard. What do they call it? EDM? Energy dispersal material. Just a bit of corrugated cardboard, yeah.
The last job is attaching the parachute.
You can never be 100% sure of anything with parachuting, but I'm just excited to see it happen, really. First time since the war.
3 in the top.
3 in the top.
You've got to do these things, haven't you?
Yeah, perfect.
Getting the story out about what these brave men did 75 years ago.
All they need now is a plane. The air dispatcher's plane of choice is the Dakota's modern-day equivalent, a £50 million Hercules. The line that will pull the parachute open is clipped onto the plane.
So you'll do this for when you're jumping as well. That pulls that. Boom, there you go. Stay line up, DCC.
The flying flea is secured behind another training load.
These 4 full ratchets on me. Tighten now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over there.
The mission can commence.
Start engines. On 4 switch 1 to come air conditioning packs. 2 to come. Radar master is on flaps. Check to 50%.
Few packs, just in case. Better looking at it than for it, mate.
Flight controls. Clear to rudder. Ready.
On D-Day, Dakotas flew low to try and maintain the element of surprise. The Hercules does exactly the same thing, hiding behind hills from enemy radar.
Come left a little bit, mate. We've got an avoid just to the right-hand side. Oh, come left.
So we're coming up into the snow down here, man. Yeah, look, they're above us.
The view from the front is great,
Ramp turning to the back.
but the view from the rear is spectacular.
Twice the size, twice as fast, and about 5 times the payload of a Dakota. I've got some confidence in that, haven't I? How can they get any more excited than that? Hung out the back of a Hercules over Battle Lake. How's it get any more excited than that? Best job in the world.
Yeah, on days like this, it is the best job in the world.
Beautiful, look at that. Look at that.
All players, this is Ascot 128, signal Charlie 130, en route to Abingdon to commence airdrop.
In 1944, the loads were pushed out by hand, and gravity did the rest. Today, the principle is the same.
Stand by. Action stations. Action stations.
The shackles will be released by computer. Then when the pilot pulls the nose slightly up, the bike should fall out the back.
1 minute. 1 minute. Pop up, go. 125 knots set.
The air dispatchers are a highly specialized unit of 150 people, more used to flying dangerous missions, supplying secret equipment to special forces.
30 seconds.
But even for them, dropping a priceless World War II motorbike from 400 feet is an unknown quantity.
Red on. Red on. Green on. Green on. Load moving. Load moving. Load moving. Load moving. Load on.
Guy Martin and the 47 Air Dispatch Squadron have just airdropped an incredibly rare paratrooper's motorbike for the first time since World War II. The package appears to be in one piece, but owner Matt Moore is about to find out if the priceless contents still works.
You can just see the back wheel, I think. You can see part of the frame.
Yeah, what did it look like, Matt? What do you think?
It seemed to be very low. Canopy took a bit of time to open. It certainly improved its top speed anyway.
Yeah.
It made a bump when it landed.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, you could hear it from where we were. Looking promising.
She's all there, mate.
Looks good, doesn't it? Good job.
Just like that.
Job's a good one. We'll get it going, shall we?
No messing.
Now it's time for Guy to perform the acid test.
You're away. Not quite an Isle of Man course, but it's all right, isn't it?
Off the beach.
When you ride it, it feels really fast. When you look at it, someone else riding it, it looks really slow.
Bloody brilliant. Hey?
Nicely done.
That's bloody brilliant. Matt was happy, I was happy.
Not too bad for having just jumped, is it?
I think this would take some beating. This would take some beating. Really. Wouldn't it? Were you beating that? Still, I don't think I'd have risked what Matt has risked. I won't risk it. I won't trust me with it anyway.
The Flying Flea isn't the only piece of original paratrooper equipment in Matt's collection.
So go on, Matt, what else have we got?
Right, well, I'll start with some of the stuff you've been issued if you were a paratrooper.
OK.
Going off on D-Day. The first thing you'd be given is 2 of those.
24-hour ration.
Basically, it's high-energy stuff.
Yeah.
It's all stuff to keep you going. Chocolate, oatmeal, meat, sweets. There's even toilet paper in there as well.
Bloody hell, just in case. You wouldn't want to be on the curry the night before, boy, with that amount.
As well as that, you'd be given this.
Go on.
Which is your emergency ration. Again, pure energy.
Yes.
This has actually got speed in it.
Is that right? So it's what with speed in it?
It's just chocolate.
With speed?
Yeah.
Amphetamine?
Yeah. Only open on instructions of an officer.
Right.
But then the problem was you start seeing Germans behind every blade of grass.
Has that gone off?
Probably.
No, there's not a lot there.
So then the other thing you'd be given...
Go on.
This is a real James Bond gadget. It looks like an ordinary uniform button.
Yeah? Yeah, well, she does,
If you unscrew the top...
There's a little compass inside.
Tiny little compass, yeah.
Look at the workmanship in that.
Early on, the Germans found out about these, that British troops were wearing them. So when they captured them, they unscrewed them and found them.
Yeah.
So the way they got around that is that later ones, they put a left-handed thread on them. So the Germans tried to unscrew it and just tightened it up. They never found them after that.
Is that right? Yeah, Matt, thanks very much. Bloody brilliant.
Back at Coventry, the build is behind schedule, but work has started on the cockpit instruments.
You need to see that, boy. If you want to see what fuel level you've got in each tank, just turn the knob. Right-hand main, left-hand main. How tricky is that?
Original wartime parts are being sourced from all over the world.
And with all these shackles, I mean, these are being dug out of French fields. And then we've got the tow rope. Nylon rope had only just come out. It's got communication wires threaded through the centre. You see, in the middle of the bloody road.
A tow rope, because after Dakotas had dropped their paratroopers on D-Day, they would make a second journey over Normandy. towing gliders behind them.
It's all right dropping paratroopers off, you know, like a stick of 12 that's jumped out. You know, they could be spread, at the best, over 100 metres, you know, at the worst, over miles. But if you're dropping them in a glider, we could keep the force united, you see. That carry 25 men, right? So we could have fuel in there, we could have a jeep in there, and we could have artillery in there, like a big gun, so we could do some damage. Like the Horser, what this was towing, right, it's the size of a bloody Lancaster bomber.
These wooden giants were flown by some of the Air Force's true mavericks.
We'd volunteered for something dangerous. We were not to be disappointed. The Horse was a masterpiece, really. I would hazard the guess that it was the best glider that any country turned out during the war.
There are two ways you can land a glider. You can glide in nice and gently, or you can stick the nose down and dive like hell and get down as fast as you can.
With no armour or weapons, you chose a steep, fast landing if you were being shot at.
As we flew in, there was a line of tracer came up in front of me. Now, that was a chap aiming at me who was a very bad aimer. You're completely defenceless. You're at the mercy of the gods. I was landing with a tailwind of about 27 knots, which is not the way to land. I could see some trees coming up, so I slammed it down on the deck and, in so doing, dinged in the nose wheel. So when ultimately we came to a halt, we were distinctly nose heavy, with the tail up in the air. We all walked out.
The explosives carried in Laurie's glider would be used by paratroopers to blow up Troarn Bridge on the eastern flank.
I didn't know it was the most important bridge at the time, but I'm not letting anybody forget it now.
It wasn't just a one-trick pony. You could use the glider again.
You had your tow rope on your glider, and the end of the tow rope was a huge circle supported on some poles. And the Dakota particularly was good at this, and it would come in as about, well, 0 feet pretty well, with a hook, and catch onto this circle, and the glider pilots would suddenly get jerked like that. It was absolutely incredible.
There are now 6 weeks left before Guy's parachute jump. He's back in Coventry to find out if the plane that he's been helping rebuild is going to be ready on time.
All right. She's not looking good, boys. You best come and have a look. Come on. Come on. Right.
It's a bit of a way off, isn't it, to fair? It's
not going to be ready.
It's fair to say it's not going to be ready. It's been a huge project and a huge undertaking, but, you know, we wouldn't have sat here and said it was going to be ready for June if we genuinely didn't think it was going to be ready for June. But it's all the detail.
Go on, what are we talking about? I mean, you know, that's cost you a week here and 2 weeks there and 3 weeks here, you know, go on.
Oh, there's lots of things, really. I mean, corrosion has been the biggest problem with this aircraft. I mean, you know, it's got something like 90,000 flying hours on this airframe.
90,000 hours?
90,000 flying hours. So, you know, you pull the fuel tanks out, it's all corroded. It's not a 5-minute job to replace sections of skin. You know, it takes longer than you think, and we've probably been victims of our own perfectionism a little bit, and that's cost us time and money and everything else that goes with it. But, of course, you get that sinking feeling that you're not going to be taking it to the 75th.
I'm not disappointed because they're being true to the original plan of absolute perfection. So I'd rather it be this way, yeah. I'd rather it was right than ready. So go on, right, I'd still like, and these boys would, jump out of the
So you need to jump out, don't you? So we need to find another C-47, don't we, really?
How could that possibly happen?
There's a DC-3 air show C-47 community out there, so I think if we called in a favour or two...
you think it could happen?
I think we could make that happen,
right.
yeah. We've got to get you to jump out, haven't we? So we'll find you an aircraft, the plan will be the same. We'll take off and we'll chuck you out the back.
Right.
So.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Thank you.
No worries.
Guy needs to hope that, just as in 1944 when the Allies could rely on a seemingly endless supply of American-built equipment, another plane will always be available. That massive equipment advantage was witnessed firsthand by a 19-year-old German dispatch rider.
Wir waren also überzeugt, dass wir diese Invasion abwehren können. Leider ist es anders gekommen. Und wir haben ganz schnell festgestellt, dass die Übermacht an Material und Menschen fast das Fünffache war.
As part of a reconnaissance unit, Eric rode a motorcycle all over Normandy, witnessing the superior Allied supply lines. When the Germans lost a tank, they tried to repair it overnight. But if his enemies lost a tank, it was replaced by 5 more. The Allies had total air supremacy as well.
Wir hatten natürlich immer ein Auge am Himmel und ein Auge auf der Fahrbahn. Und wenn man sah, dass irgendwo ein Jabo kam und dann fuhr man rechts in Deckung am Strauch, wo man manchmal auch richtig Angst hatte. Da kamen ja nicht nur 2, 3 Jagdflieger, da kamen ja ein Dutzend oder noch mehr. Die kamen wie die Hummeln. Aber das ging mit jedem Tag schlechter. Und wie gesagt, ich persönlich und auch viele meiner Kameraden, die wussten nach, das ist nicht mehr zu gewinnen. Wenn ich mich mit britischen Soldaten unterhalten habe, die haben gesagt, ja, du hast für dein Vaterland gekämpft. Die verstehen das, dass wir unter falschen Voraussetzungen, dass wir später erfahren mussten, dass wir für die Falschen gekämpft haben. Wir haben für die falsche Sache gekämpft.
Today, the Normandy battlefields are a tourist attraction, and it's where Guy will visit next for the most important part of his D-Day adventure.
There is one vital piece of the machine that needs putting in, and that's me having a parachute licence, which I haven't got. So for anything to go forward, for me to be able to jump out of a Dakota, I need to get a parachute licence. But I want to jump with an original parachute, which is a round canopy, and to be able to jump with one of those, I've got to go do it in France. So we best go for a look.
Go! Guy Martin's D-Day mission will start at Membry, a forgotten airfield in Berkshire. In 1944, 4 squadrons of Dakotas, carrying the 101st Airborne Division, departed here for Operation Overlord.
She'd have been a busy place, unlike now. It'd just been a sea of Dakotas, wouldn't it? 50-odd Dakotas based here, all with 28 men in them, taking off within seconds of each other, really. Yeah, and all top secret.
A Dakota hasn't flown paratroopers from here since D-Day. Until now. This is the plane Guy will jump from, made available by its generous owner at the 11th hour. It is one of only 3 airworthy wartime Dakotas in the country.
It's all right, isn't it? It is a proper D-Day machine. You can see the pictures. Can you see them there, Brian? You can see them there. The top line of how many aid missions it's done, how many paratroop missions it's done, how many glider missions it's done, and then the train at the bottom is the resupply. Peachy.
Guy will use this plane to recreate Mission Albany, flying from Membry to the exact coordinates of a D-Day drop zone by Utah Beach. Pilot Charlie Walker will be in the cockpit.
Run into the drop zone across this way. So essentially what we're doing is retracing their steps from Membry 75 years ago.
75 years ago.
Which is pretty cool, really.
A momentous day.
It will be.
Fingers crossed.
Situated 500 meters behind the invasion coast, Drop Zone Alpha is still a challenging target. Surrounded by hazards, Guy will have to land in a field just 150 meters square.
Yeah, nervous.
I mean, I think nerves are good. The focus the mind.
Nothing to worry about. You're going to love it.
You're not jumping out the back, though, are you?
No, well, not intentionally, anyway.
Joining Guy for this very special jump are 12 friends he made at parachute school.
So we're going this way? All the way.
Hook up!
All under the careful control of Jumpmaster Hubert.
Check static lines!
The Dakota will be flying faster than anything Guy experienced in training. And there are far more safety procedures to get right.
3 okay! 2 okay!
1 okay.
All okay, Jumpmaster.
All okay, Jumpmaster. All okay, Jumpmaster.
That's it. Questions? No?
The drop zone is ready, complete with temporary passport control. The 90-minute cross-channel flight, with the door off, can begin.
How do you read me? Loud and clear? Loud and clear.
Joining Charlie in the cockpit is experienced display pilot Peter Kuipers.
Let's blow a couple of portaloos. Yeah, why not?
I remember well, our colonel said, we have got the plum job in the invasion.
The sound of the aircraft above was deafening. You couldn't see the sky for aircraft.
I don't think you gave any thought about whether it's dangerous or whatever. It didn't enter your head.
When we got over the French coast, the anti-aircraft fire started, and that made us think a little bit.
Can you see it?
Get ready!
I thought, well, blimey, yeah, we ain't going to be able to see anybody. We didn't have to see them, we knew where they were. When you see all the bloody shells ripping up at you.
Hook up! Hook up! 6 okay! 1 okay! 3 okay! 2 okay!
1 okay, Jumpmaster.
This is what we trained for. We never had any hesitation at all.
Stand at the door!
This is what helped to win the war, because there was this very well-disciplined soldiers, sailors and airmen who were actually running it on the front line.
I don't know that I've got a lot of knowledge of today's 18-year-olds or whatever, but I'm hopeful that they would do a similar job.
Drops on 11 o'clock.
Go!
Jump in, jump in.
Guy leads the way into the 90 miles per hour airstream.
Oh, we've got a bit of a twist on.
Guy's parachute has multiple twists. But he frees himself.
Jump in. Jump in.
And the sky is full of the first Membry to Normandy mass drop in 75 years.
Jumpers out. Jumpers out. Oh, you can feel it's already a bit lighter. Yeah. No hesitation at all.
All Guy has to do now is land safely.
Oh, be all right, mate, if it wasn't an electric fence. Oh. We're in Normandy. I've got my passport with me, officer. The gendarmes. The gendarmes. Oh, bloody frightened of that bloody electric fence, man. I was a bit nervous, and I was sort of talking myself out of it. Everyone's sort of relying on me here, because I'm first out. And I was sort of saying, bloody hell, what are you going to do? You can't back out now. So I had to change the subject in my head, and then the next thing, Hubert is shouting, jump! Go! That's it. I was out the door. And then you just think,
what would that have been like 75 years ago? The tension must have been unbearable. That was only the drive to work, really. You know, they was landing to do a job. At what, 1 in the morning? Hey, I was being shot at. Yeah, all right, mate. I've been thinking twice. Yeah, and I'm doing it for a bit of crack, hey? Massive respect, just... Hopefully we've done the 75th anniversary of D-Day justice. Just had the tiny bit of the experience of what those boys had, just a tiny bit. Bloody brilliant, bloody brilliant. I don't think them boys are that fussed, to be honest. Because the passport control man has just buggered off, he hasn't checked me. So I've invaded France, official. Official.